Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Every last one of you who are listening to me at any time, and those of you who aren't, this message is for all of us. Basic human rights for all people. You know, I want to talk to you on the subject matter, ain't no money in it. Ain't no money in it. We are wondering about all the different things that's happening in our world today, and a lot of us kind of got certain degrees in certain fields, and our thinking basically follows those lines. And for some strange reason, they might have some think tanks somewhere scattered around the world, uh, trying to understand and making a distinction about where to go from the problems of today. In my lifetime, I've recognized that we haven't progressed any. Oh, yes, we might move from a stone wheel to a jet, but we as human beings, we aren't going anyplace. We're still what we have always been. And I wanted to find out what the problem is, how we can fix this thing so we the people can start smiling again if we ever did. And so I was so thrilled to find the answer. I mean, when I say find, I mean I was searching, and for some strange reason, it was revealed to me, just as those guys who brought the information about the electric light, something was revealed to them. About the telephone, something was revealed to them. About the jets and the spaceships, something was revealed to them. And so the message that I bring to you is a message that was revealed to me, just like the others. Now, you might ask yourself, well, if all of you were revealed, then why are they so successful and your revelation hasn't done anything for you? Well, I can explain that to you. Thank God I really can explain it to you. You see, I've been saying it all along, but for some strange reason, I know what that reason is now. It wasn't accepted. And so here I come. I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, through a story form, to help you understand clearly. You know, there's a biblical story that we as Americans, and I know Christians, I followed in that footstep my lifetime. And the story goes that God made, I'm not going to try to give you the whole story now. We'll break it in here in little pieces so we can get this thing understood. God made the earth, all the things that the earth is, all that the earth represents, that which is seen and that which is unseen. Whether it's up there, on here, in there. It's all power, love from the Creator. And so God made human beings. They say the story starts with two just so we can understand rather than trying to deal with a whole group of them, just bring them down to two. And the message, I'm sure, was a spiritual message, you know, something that they could feel and just natural inside, like breathing. And they looked out at all that was before them, and they recognized that everything was theirs. Everything was theirs. They looked at it. Now I'm gonna, you know the story that they tell you in the book, but I'm gonna bring it up to our time so you can understand what is actually being said. What is actually being said is this. Okay, everything is yours. You, by engaging yourselves, will never have to worry about food. You'll never have to worry about clothing. You'll never have to worry about shelter. You will never, ever have to worry about those things that are essential for you, like education. No, it's unlimited and unrestricted health care from the womb to the tomb. You always need it, and it'll always be there for you. Transportation to get here and there. Not only that, to make the story short, whatever you can imagine, put your hands to it and cause the manifestation thereof. Now, what happens here is that these things are all great possibilities. Great possibilities. To achieve them, to experience them, you have to what? Get the imagination, get the commitment, engage your hands and your feet and your mind and cause a creation. Now you can imagine how difficult that might be for two people. working together to achieve such a mass as this I've just described. But as that community grows hundreds and thousands and millions and billions, now all of a sudden, it's not that difficult. Because every one of us human beings got that desire to engage ourselves, to be something, to be about something, to be appreciated and respected. Well, all of this belongs to you. You don't have to worry about anything. You're going to live in peace. You can be prosperous. You be free. Your needs, your wants, and your desires are being met. You're happy and you're joyous in your life. Now, this, my friends, is spread from two. Knowing the limitations of two, but at the same time, it was just as magnificent as the billions of us, because they didn't have to be all out there. They could be right in their space. And being in their space, it's the same as being all out here. So, what happened? Since I just described to you, we could have heaven on earth. That's what I've always been telling you. Always been telling you that. But now, let me get back to the story. There's another part. You know the part where they tell you about, some people say the snake came and started talking. Other people might have other stories, relative. But I want to bring it back to here where we are today. All of these things, it is not complicated. It's not complicated at all. All of these things that I've just got through describing to you. What is the one thing? What is the absolute one thing that prevents some people, most people, from not having access to this heavenly nest? What is the one thing? You know, what is the one thing that prevents people from engaging in the things that they want to do? What is the one thing? The one thing is a lack of money. So money is in the picture. And rather than the snake talking, it's the ones about the money saying, hey, everybody's having the same thing. That got to be boring. But you can be better than that. You can have more. And that makes you special. And you're entitled to it. Come on over here. I can show you. Don't believe that stuff about everybody living and having heaven on earth. That ain't nothing but crap. Look, the things that you'll be able to do, you do it for us over here, you know, and we can tie in this money and pay you big because we appreciate that. But see, money really means nothing to us. We just using money as a tool. Now, you only give that information to those who have the need to know. You don't tell everybody that. And so what's going on, the game is being played. All of a sudden, how do you get a chance to manipulate a game like that on people who have access really to everything? You start lying. And you already started when you get to trying to get this support. You start cheating. You start doing anything. And you start robbing people. Now because they don't have the money. And why don't they have the money? You don't have any need of them at this time. So they have to be left out and be your slaves if you got to use them. See, that's how that saying came in there, ladies and gentlemen. Now you got money. You can get billions of dollars. You can be the richest man on earth. You remember the story in the book, in the good book, they said about Jesus Christ went and the devil took him on a hill, talking to him now. You remember when the devil supposedly offered Jesus the world, but he had to be loyal to Satan. And for some strange reason, Jesus said it ain't worth it. Everything that you have sold your talents out to, your gifts, you sold it out for $1.65 an hour, or a million during a year, depending upon what you've been chosen to do. Sold that all out. And the evidence that you are supporting this mess is the people that don't have anything. But you don't know this. You came up in a world that you were being taught. You were being taught the system just as you were taught to speak English, just as you were taught in school. You've been taught that this system is the way. Nobody tells you about the real deal. But I want you to know the message is the real deal. Let me tell you what got me this morning. I was watching television before I got up, and I heard this brother come on television. He was talking about the media and how people try to say the media is on the left or the media is on the right, and if you got him, George Soros or something on the left, and over here going to the right, you got all this old crazy stuff. You know what I'm talking about. He said, but people don't know. It's not about, when it comes down, it's not about the left or the right. It's about money. They are going at the money. They're going what the advertisers are selling, what the people are listening to, what the people are watching. And that's what they're going after. They're not concerned about what you get. That's irrelevant. As long as they suck the money. Why? Because the money determines who's who. Money like the guy that over there in Russia right now that started a war just to make people bend to his rules. See, this is the same thing I just got through. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Now he's over there killing people. Well, we do it everywhere. You know, there's some form of killing going on everywhere. Some just stupidity. Others just, it's all designed. So what does that say? That says that, you remember the movie The Incredibles? When these guys had these superpowers? And there was one guy who didn't have them, but he really wanted them. He wanted them real bad. And so what he came up with was a way to make him some shoes, I believe, something like that, that kind of allowed him to spice up and act like he's had some powers. But then he found out that the things changed, where everybody had power. Then he realized and said, "Whoa, that's not important." He pulled those shoes off. He wasn't even thinking about it anymore, because he was looking to be something uniquely special beyond what everybody else. In other words, he wanted to be the big shot. Like people who want to come into this country and tell lies, and just on the basic principles that you understand, get you confused, have you going one against another, parents and family members going one against another, dealing with deception, because nobody is telling you what's going on. What is really going on? The reason that you cannot get any information talking about this heavenly living is because there's no money in it. There's no money. The system was set up so everybody being participating makes it possible for everybody to have housing. Now that don't mean everybody making houses, but what you're doing, what each and every individual is doing, is the same engagement that you're having right now in creating and producing the things that you do right now. But people are doing it who loves doing it, who get their joy and their happiness out of doing it. And all of the other stuff I just mentioned to you just is a byproduct. But for you to see this, you got to be born again. Because of the way you've been taught. You got to be born again. So people who know this, we have the duty and responsibility to tell you this and to walk according to it. Now, most of your people who talk to you about God have accepted this way as being the divine way. They tell you that God set this system up. I don't know why he set this system up in America and set up a different one in Russia and all. Well, see, that's just a part of the game still that's being played. See, the system that God sets up works for we as Americans. It works for Russians. It works for all the Africans. It works for Asians. It works for everybody. It's the same old system. The same old system, doing unto others as you would have others do unto you. Allowing the spirit of love that created you live within you and use you. You know, that mindset to be an instrument of more divine, heavenly things, not destructive things. And our charge was to beware of anything that would come in there and mess up our heaven. Anything that would come in there and say, one person can't go to college this year. Why? There's a problem. That got to be fixed. One person can't have housing this year. That's a problem. That's got to be fixed. We don't have to wait till thousands of people are homeless. No, one person doesn't have housing. That got to be fixed. Going to education. Did I say anything about education? One person, well, healthcare. One person can't get this particular healthcare or whatever is related to their health. Boop, you fix that. Stop that lie. Don't give it a place to grow. It has grown. It has grown. So now when we're talking about being born again, you got to see this. Not trying to fake it. You got to be real. And all you got to do is go inside. And when you can't fake it no more because it's real to you, then you will respond according to however you're supposed to respond in that situation or in that condition. It's wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. The truth of the matter is, but how many people are going to be born again when they don't even know the message? They've been given a message about dying and go to heaven on the other side. One of the biggest lies that a crook can tell and somebody that's blind to see. I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the life that we are living right now is on our hands. Now, what I've just got through sharing with you, you're probably saying to yourself, well, what if we were interested in your system, the system that you're telling us about? That's what I'm wondering. Let's get this here straight. This ain't my system. This is a system that is designed to work for all of us as human beings. Well, how do we need money right now to pay our bills, to get our gas. We need everything still costs because we're living in the world of Satan. Let's put it right there just like that. We're living in the world of Satan because what I just got through describing was not nothing like this. So how do we make this transcending? Well, you don't just stop. I mean, if you were impressed that everybody just stopped, then great. But not expecting that would truly be a miracle. You have to make plans. We are going to change out, for instance, like right here, where we got an election coming up. You can utilize this election system. You could empower people who are of the mindset of God. And that's not going to be any problems, except the ones that still represent evil. And the challenge is going to be there. And what are you trying to do? You're trying to get through the system that they have accepted as the system. Basically, we're doing what the evil ones are doing, like Trump and those guys are doing. They want to plant enough people in the positions that make decisions so when they come up and start doing what they want to do, they can do what they want to do. The problem with that, it is not the system that is designed to work for all of the people. It's the system to put a foot on your head. And that's moving. But I'm telling you about the one to take that foot off your head and not put it in prison, not try to cut that foot off, but to resist that foot. So that foot can just sit there and wonder and shake, but you ain't moving out of fear. You're walking forward because what you're doing it even for that foot because you realize that foot has been trained and brainwashed to be just as evil and as stupid as it is. But love says, you can change, but we're not going to change you by the games you play. We're going to lift you up, show you the way, because you deserve to live as well. And then, babies and sisters, go forward. What you got to fear? Who you got to worry about? Somebody want to blow your brains out. You ain't thinking about that, baby. You moving. You're living. Causing life. So, you can't have that because there ain't no money in it. No money in it at all. And Satan moves on money. The whole world moves on money. And we who talking about God, the real power, knows what that tool is. And we, my friends, resist it. Now, let's work it out. Thank you.